welcome to the Keystone Experience. Rob Warwick
and Matt Pitzer.
Brought to you by Creek Archery. Find your passion and hunt it down.
And Hillview Motors, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Remember, Hillview has it in Greensburg, Pennsylvania.
What's going on, everybody? Hey, we got a special guest with us tonight. We got Mr. Matt from Bow Creek Outdoors. What's going on, brother?
Not much. How you guys doing?
We're trying to get through this crazy ass spring thing that's happening down here. You know,
Yeah,
rain,
decided
70,
to fill up.
snow, and 90-mile-an-hour wind. Ridiculous. So, what's new and exciting up there, buddy?
Not much. Just right now, based on camera pictures, I'm hoping for turkey season. I'm not looking forward to it. I'm just hoping. So we'll see. Hopefully, can get out in the next week or two, move some cameras around, and get on some birds. The population where I'm at doesn't seem to be very good this year. So we'll see. I got to move some cameras. Most of my cameras are still in my deer setup, so that's a bad thing about running solo. You get kind of lazy and and just leave them there, and it's like, I'll get to that eventually.
Yep.
And then turkey season's probably at the time of the recording, like 5-6 weeks away. So
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be here before we know it.
Yeah.
And don't feel bad, Matt. I'm in the same boat. I've at least moved my cameras. I just picked awful locations because they've been there for a week, and all I'm getting are deer. I'm basically scouting for deer season already.
Yeah, me too. I still have 2 on scrapes. So
I moved some of mine trying to find the turkeys, and I actually think I found a spot that I'm going to put a stand at for deer season. So no turkeys at it, but deer there every single night.
I finally got all mine moved from, I use mine as trapping, scouting for trapping.
Yeah.
And I finally got them moved from my coyote spots, but I'm kind of kicking myself in the ass because that's where most of the birds have been,
well,
So I'm going to have to take the solar cameras and put them back over there and move the BC-32s out to the power line where the birds are,
yeah.
see what happens.
Yeah. Are you guys seeing a lot of birds, Rob? I mean, clearly Matt's not, but
Our deer lease that we have, it's loaded pretty good this year. I mean, lots of longbeard
that's good.
and a lot of coyotes too. Where
It's not
all of a sudden, no, like all season long. I mean, hardly seen the coyotes on the deer lease, and now all of a sudden it's like every other night, 1-2 o'clock in the morning, it's just coyotes, and it's crazy.
Yeah, it's weird because when I get them for a few days in a row, and I don't know too much about them, but and then they seem to disappear for a few months, and then next thing you know, it's a few days in a row, and then they disappear. I had one interesting video where a deer's leg was just barely hanging on, and today I got a picture of her with a nub. So I know she made it, but on that same day, a coyote came limping through like he escaped a trap or something. I don't know. His back leg, he's just kind of holding his right back leg like up in the air, trotting along. His foot looked fine, but I don't know if he escaped a trap or something else happened to him.
Yeah. I sent Matt a picture this afternoon off of one of the cell cams. I had shot a doe, I don't know, probably the second or third week of the bow season. It was early.
Yeah, because we still push through a lot of leaf trees and greens and thorns.
And I mean, we went back and we looked at the video, and you just swore up and down that I 10-ring this deer.
Mm-hmm.
But she was on video today. She's got about a 14-inch scar down the left side of her body, from where the 10 ring is towards her ass. So I just opened her up like a zipper. And she made it. Hopefully she can have young ones. I hope I didn't screw her up too bad, but
yeah, tough creatures.
Yeah, and that's basically, that's one of the things I love about the cell cams is, we don't go in there, we don't bother them. The solar, panels help. You don't need to go in there and change batteries. You keep your scent out of there. Yep. But then you also these deer get so used to being in those areas with those that you finally do get to see when you screw up, hey, okay, now that deer made it through.
Yeah.
It makes you feel a little better.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, if she's still around, like you couldn't see any infection or anything like that.
Nope.
Yeah. It happens. I mean, that's bow hunting.
Yeah. And then, in some cases, like my buck that I killed the last Friday at gun season, 8 o'clock in the morning, he walked past that camera. Noon, he walked past that camera. And 4:30, I was in the tree stand and killed him. So,
yeah.
It kind of gave him away for the day that we knew he was hanging around up in there. So,
yeah. Yeah, they're nice. I know. I mean, we've talked before, and like my son's hockey schedule, and the buck I ended up killing was daylighting all through the October lull. And my son's like, just skip my game. And I'm like, I'm not skipping your game. And then he kind of disappeared. And long story short, I ended up being super frustrated because it was a misty morning, and I've had real good luck seeing big bucks on misty mornings, and I didn't see a single deer that morning. So our property's kind of a transition property, but that time of year was the end of October. Like anything can happen, but I'm like, I'm just going to go pull all my cards out of my regular cameras. And I actually went in after a different buck, and but the traditional cameras what put me in that area, and so it let me know he was in there, and he was in there a lot. I mean, there was a hot oak tree dropping, and it wasn't just him. It was like 3 or 4 bucks in there, and the does were piling through there every morning, and so it was a good setup for the morning because I like to hunt the ground. But in the evening, the trail, well, they take several trails down, but my wind would be blowing back up the mountain towards where they come from 75% of the time. And on the ground, there was just no good ground setup to get into to make that wind work. So I wouldn't go up in the evenings. And then I ended up buying a saddle this year, so we'll see how that goes. But spent way too much money on something that I'm probably going to use 1 or 2 times, but I want to be able to hunt there in the evening, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so it's funny because I have cell cams, obviously, and then I have my traditional cams, but my traditional cams what got me my buck this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you mentioned, hunting on the ground. That's one thing I want to kind of knock off my bucket list this year. I want to get a deer on the ground with my vertical. I've done it with a crossbow. I mean, obviously, it's a little bit easier. Still a challenge, but I kind of, now that you mentioned that just got me thinking. You know what? That's something I want to try to get accomplished because archery's hard enough. Let's throw in being on the ground. I'm going to try it with no blind and see how miserably I get.
I love it. He actually came in the wrong direction. I was at the bottom of the mountain and hunting this point, and I was probably 20 yards from the trail that I thought they would possibly use. Just from past history, they either come straight down the point or they cross the point 20 yards from there. from where I was set up, and and they usually come from my right. Well, this one, I'm literally laying down the whole time looking up at this point because I knew I could see them probably 100 yards away, and where I thought they might come from, or I should hear them coming from the right. And so I would lay down and just watch up the point. Well, don't the first three deer come out of a thicket to the left? And I'm like, if a buck's behind them, I'm screwed. So I ended up just sitting on my knees, and I had half back cover. I didn't feel like I was silhouetted, but I at the same time didn't feel real comfortable with the setup. But I had to be super aggressive. These were the only 3 days I could hunt in archery season, and so they come from the left, and they fed up the mountain, which blew my mind. And I hear something behind me, and I turned around just expecting to see a squirrel, and there's a buck standing at 15 yards, quartering to me, and I just dipped my head immediately and like squinted my eyes. And really, all I was waiting for was for it to snort at me because I felt like he was just staring at me. And he starts walking, and I still have my eyes closed, but he's walking like up the mountain, and the leaves are getting louder and louder and louder. And when I felt like it was parallel to me, I turned my head to the left, and he was quartering away, and I had no time for yardage or anything, but I knew he was top pin and ended up shooting it. So there was some other stuff that happened that I wasn't real confident in my tracking, some stuff that happened with my son's deer and a turkey. I'd shot a turkey opening morning, put it right on its beard from the ground too, and trailed that thing for like 200 yards. And I was just like, that thing jumped 6 feet in the air when I shot it. And I thought for sure, I'm like, sweet. I never shot a turkey on the ground with a bow, without a blind. And well, I never shot one with a bow. Every fall turkey I got was from my tree stand deer hunting. And, I've never gone out just to hunt turkey. But so I called or texted three of my buddies. One of them said they could come up and help. And as I'm standing there texting, I'm just standing up in this blowdown. The buck I was after comes walking down grunting. And he stood at 10 yards for 4 minutes, just looking around. And I'm standing there, and I'm like, you're so lucky I'm an ethical person because I missed that deer last year twice, if I'm going to be completely honest. And, once in bow season and once in rifle. And yeah, so he ends up walking away, but I have this like 4.5 minute footage on my phone just standing there filming him, and my headlamps on and it's bright white. And but he was rutted up, and yeah, so that was the first full day I hunted, October 30th. And so my season lasted about a day and a half. I think I hunted a half day Friday night, basically. But yeah, the self filming on the ground's tough. That's why I missed that buck last year. He was charging up the mountain, and I had my camera sitting beside me, and I had my bow in this hand, and I'm flipping the camera around as he's running up. And as I went to grab my release or put my release on my bow, I knocked the camera over, and he heard me knock it over and just stop. And it wasn't like I had ranged, but everything just had me so flustered that I ended up shooting under him. But it's intense. The self filming's hard though. I missed my target or couldn't even get drawn on my target buck last year because I got the camera set up. He's walking up a point, and when I picked my bow up, he whipped his head around after I got the two cameras set up and turned on, and that one hurt a lot because that was the first day I was out, And of course, with the share feature on the cameras, all the guys are hitting me up saying, please tell me you're there. Please tell me you're there. And I'm like, check my phone after he ended up walking away. But I couldn't get drawn on him. And then when he finally got quartering away, I went to draw and I made it about this far before he snorted and took off. But so the self-filming on the ground, I'd left the camera at home this year. I was just like, cost me $2 last year. It's not that important. I'll have the mount on the wall to remember the story.
Yeah.
And the video I can play in my head. So
we got to come up with a remote control for the BC-32.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that this year for turkey season. Me and Alex built a couple stands. We're going to put them in the decoys. Hopefully nobody frickin' shoots them. I'm going to be real pissed if somebody shoots one of the cameras.
Now, we both know if anybody shoots it, it's going to be you.
Yeah, but I'm using a bow.
No, you take a bow, but it always the gun winds up in your hand.
Hey, when you call 6 or 7 birds in and you let one guy shoot the first time, then, I got to clean up. I got to kill the rest of them.
I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, like that you're cheating or anything. You're such a phenomenal caller that you literally brought, 2 years ago, you brought 6 or 7 in at one time.
Yeah.
But they got spooked by the side-by-side that was a half a mile away.
Yeah.
And then last year, you and Alex, you brought, 4 in?
Yeah.
Alex shot one with the gun, and the other 3 just stood there.
Yeah. Yep. And they handed me the gun.
Like, Matt, how's that happen? How do you shoot one with a gun and 3 others just literally stand there? Don't go anywhere. No Such a stupid animal that but yet I still can't kill one. I don't get it. It makes me feel dumb every year. That's such a dumb
they
animal.
Have their days that they're pretty smart.
Yeah.
You're just hunting them on their smart days.
I must be because he told me that, and I'm like, there's no way. And then I watched the footage, which will be out on the YouTube channel. Alex literally shoots this bird with the shotgun, big old 12 gauge. 3 other birds jump up, move 5 yards further away, and stand there. Give him enough time for him to put his bow down, grab the gun off of Alex, and shoot another one.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have that luck. Turkey I
Me neither.
killed last year, I had to lay flat on my belly. And it was way too far of a shot, but it worked. I didn't realize how far it was because I was laying on my belly and kind of lost my depth perception. But I was like, if he crosses that logging road right there, I'm smoking him. And then as I'm running up to stomp on its head, I'm like, oh, how far is this? I think it was like 62 yards. But.
I understand that. That's how I missed one last year. It was opening day. It was after he and Alex killed theirs. Me, him, and Haley went, and I wound up laying on my stomach as he's calling a bird in, and it just would not come in. You called for 30-some minutes?
Yeah.
It answered every time. It just wouldn't cross that line. And like you said, you kind of lose your depth perception. I'm like, that's a good shot.
Yeah.
Shot, missed, walked up. I'm like, well, that was a lot damn farther than I thought it was.
Yeah, well, it messed with me because then I had one, and I'm like, oh, that's too far of a shot. And after 3 of them came in, and 3 walked away, but afterwards I was like, that's not a far shot at all. It was like 35 yards, and I'm sitting there thinking it was too far, and I'm like, the last turkey messed with me.
And then the year before that, I shot the one with the bow, me and Haley in the blind.
Yeah, it was a couple years now.
At 3 feet.
Yeah, I don't know how you... Yeah, again, tell me how... That one is on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Again, Haley shoots a bearded hen with a gun. She goes out of the blind to get it, says, Dad, there's a gobbler. Literally unzips the blind, pokes her body out. Dad, there's a gobbler. We'll get back in here. And the damn thing walks right around in the front, 3 feet away for him to shoot it with a bow.
Wow.
I can't get a turkey within 200 yards. You just have them in your lap.
You got some turkey estrogen or something sent with
Man, I'm
them.
telling you. Either that or, you know what? It has to be the Bow Creek cameras.
It has to be. They put me on the right spots.
I promise you it's not that. I got a lot of those things.
Well, we ought to probably jump in here and talk about some of these cameras.
Yeah. Yeah, the new one. We finally got them all put up after we hung out with you guys for the day up there in Harrisburg. We finally got them out. So
Yeah, I
can
love
pull
that
cards
camera.
this weekend.
I am excited about the new camera.
Yeah, I mean I love the way the night pictures are. So the plan is to replace the 52 with that one. They have similar internal settings or components, I should say, and it's just the wide view. Really, the thought process on that was more for the public land hunter. People, obviously, theft is a problem in the woods, and more people are hanging them up in trees and things like that. So a standard camera is typically like 54 degrees, 58 degrees, somewhere in there, and this is a 120-degree field of view. And it's the video, the sound quality on the video. Like this time of year, I'll switch those to video mode and try and get turkeys gobbling. I think I ended up with 7 videos last year of birds gobbling. But I got a super quick trigger speed, 0.2, 0.2 second trigger speed, 1 to 5 pictures, I think. I usually run all mine on 3 just because the video is so quick, or the trigger time is so quick. But then the recovery time's also super quick, so it saves the photos super fast, and you're not missing much time in between. I think it's less than a second. But so I think the color on it's really good, very, very good color. And like I said, the biggest thing with the 52 I didn't like was the IR. It had like a cone to it. And this one is more spread out across the whole picture. So super happy with it. And still has the 2-year warranty. But just like every other camera, we're testing it for at least a year before we put it out, and the battery life is absolutely ridiculous. I have one that I just put lithiums in to test it, and it's been out 15 months. And last time I checked it, well, I should say the last time I checked it was at 15 months when the batteries were in, and it still had over half the battery life left. So you can put that thing up in turkey season and run it the whole way through deer season, and chances are it'll probably make it to turkey season the following year.
I know with my 48, I hardly ever touch the batteries in that camera. And I run that camera on video a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
I run Duracell Pro Cells just because I can buy them in bulk on Amazon. And I think I get about 10 months out of a set of Pro Cells on the 48. And it's a pretty cheap battery. I think I buy them, I think it's 144 at a time. And it comes out to like 51 cents a battery or something like that. But so they're not the cheapest, but they're still pretty cheap. I know they have some like Amazon Basics or something. There's yellow and blue battery on there that I've used as well. Um, but the Duracell Pro cells for my money, like they can't be beat.
Yeah, I run mostly all my cameras run on the Rayovacs.
Yeah, Rayovac's a good battery.
I
Actually,
kind
on
of
the
go,
cell cam in the winter, that's before I had solar. Um, that's what I was getting the longest battery life out of.
yeah. Now the solar panel
Yeah.
is like a raccoon attractant.
Oh, really?
Like, dude, I'll next time I go out, I'll take pictures. I'll show you the footprints all over this freaking thing.
Oh, wow.
And they're not squirrel tracks. They're and
Yeah.
like
Well, you're a
on the cell
trapper.
cam,
I
on the
trust
cell
you.
cam, you'll get a picture of a nutsack and it's off of a raccoon. So, I mean, it's crazy, dude. They like sit up there. It's unbelievable. You know, the one day I went out, I'm like, why is this camera going dead? I'm like, something's wrong. So I travel back in there. I get there and I'm looking at the thing and I'm like, who the hell moved my solar panel? Well, here they sat on the solar panel, had it facing the ground, pulled the plug out of the bottom of it, you
Yeah, I had
know,
that happen.
didn't chew on it. They just pulled it out, you know, and then the antenna on the cell cam was like bent to the side, you know, and footprints all over the camera, all over the solar panel.
Hmm.
Alex was like, "You think they like that?" I said, "Well, this next one, I said, let's make sure we angle it really steep, so when they do step on it, they're just going to slide right off. They can't sit up there.
Yeah,
So
put some
we'll
cooking
see what
oil.
happens." Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah,
they
but
love they.
there's solar panels. I have a north facing property, so it's not getting a ton of sun, but I have one on the top of the mountain that was one of the original ones we tested. And that one is well over, um, it's got to be coming up on 2 years now that I haven't touched it. And my battery life's still full on that camera.
Yeah,
They're amazing.
I love them. I mean,
I don't think people realize, like, yeah, they're a little pricey, but how much money you're going to save on batteries running those.
yeah,
Exactly. And we just were talking about that when we went over to the property, because I put my cameras out at my buddy's farm and I went up to Walmart, bought, because I didn't plan ahead. God forbid I plan ahead on something and
Yeah,
save
I'm with
money.
you.
But I went up to Walmart, bought, I think, 32 Rayovacs. They come in like a 32 pack or something from Walmart.
Hmm.
$22 for those batteries.
Yeah.
I got 3 cameras out of it.
Yep.
And that's what I was talking about. You look at that solar panel, and we've talked about, and I want to get into it. That's not just a normal solar panel. Like, you have a bigger battery bank in there than
Right.
anything else you can find.
Yeah. So again, being on the north facing property, I tried 8,000 milliamp hours. I tried 5,000 before that, tried 8,000, and the 8,000s I wasn't even getting 3 weeks out of them. And so um, we ended up going with the 25,000, and I just couldn't believe the 25,000 milliamp hour um, solar panel, and just couldn't believe like how long it was lasting. And like I said, if you're hunting like a south facing property, that's gold. Like I have to bring some of them in. The shortest I ever got was 6 months out of one. But that thing gets like literally 10, 15 minutes of sun. Um, the sun barely hits that spot. And the other ones that can get like an hour or two a day of sun, they're lasting 8 to 10 months. Um, so yeah, it is a big investment, but it's an investment. Like you're going to make that money back so quick. I had somebody like
Probably in your
buy
first year.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
You know, I mean, if
And
you're running multiple cameras, 12 batteries to a camera,
yeah,
you know, heck, you got 60 batteries you need. That's $40 right there in batteries.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
You replace them twice, you're at 80. You know, you replace them batteries 3 times, you're almost to the price of what that one solar panel cost. And the more important thing for me, you, and probably you too, Matt, all the trips you've made to
oh
go
yeah, the
change
gas
batteries,
money. Yep,
you know, and putting that scent in the woods and, you know, maybe
yep,
spooking that buck out of that area. That's the
right.
great thing about the solar panel. Whether you put it on a
Yeah,
traditional camera or a cell camera, you put it on a cell camera, you don't ever have to go back in there.
Yep.
You put it
yeah,
on a traditional camera, you just got to go in occasionally just to check the card.
right. Yep. Yeah, checking the cards is the big thing, at least with our cameras. I had a guy that wanted to put a solar on a BC32, and I'm like, don't. I'm like, if you have another camera or something, put it on that one. I'm like, those batteries are going to last you a year. There's no sense in putting a solar panel on one of those. But yeah, I mean, it is nice. I kind of miss my time in the woods, but again, my schedule's chaotic, and so I don't get many free weekends. But you know, I it just depends. I have a buddy. Actually, he won one of your drawings, and we became friends. Aaron Pascaret,
Oh
and
yeah.
he's like completely against cell cams, and he's a good guy. Like, I mean, we can sit there and have a an intelligent conversation without either of us getting butt hurt over it. But he like he was on another podcast talking about the technology, and I love it that he feels that strongly about it. Like he's a good guy and he puts his time in the woods. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but for me, with where my kids are with their age, I can't do it. But I still want to be able to hunt. And so I think like when people have these arguments, and like I said, we didn't have an argument, we had a discussion, and but like you hear people saying certain things, like everybody's at different places in their life, right? Like where you can have the time. Oh, well, you'll make time if it's important. Well, my kids are more important than my hunting, so I
Yeah.
can't make the time for that most weekends, or like we were discussing before the podcast, like if it's raining, I need to be in the shop making deer feed. I'm not going to go to the woods. Like I want to go to the woods when it's nice and I can take my dogs and run around and not get my truck all muddy. And um, so I could be out there, but it makes more sense for me to utilize my time making deer feed and you know, but at the same time, I find the past 2 years I've been able to get on my target buck the first day because I'm not in there tramping around. Um, the deer continue their natural movement. You know, I've heard the argument for Sunday hunting, oh, it puts too much pressure on the deer, this and that. And it's like, I don't agree with that either. Deer are going to adjust to there. There's pressure on them every day because they're a prey animal.
Yep.
Um, but you know, it's just different strokes for different folks, right? So I still use traditional cameras a lot. You know, I use my cell cams when I don't want to go into certain areas, don't want to be bothering the edge of bedding. But I'll use my traditional cameras on logging roads and stuff where I can still take my dogs up, walk my dogs. For the most part, they're staying on the logging road. They might get a little wild and run up about 50 yards or so into the woods, but I can have easy access to those traditional cameras and pull the card and still enjoy being in the woods. Um, but yeah, so to me, they have their place. It's just like anything. I guess they could be used wrong, but anything can be used wrong. So it's up to like the hunter to be ethical about it. Like if you're putting it in your backyard and you got a feeder back there and you're sitting in your living room with a gun loaded, like yeah, I
Yeah.
kind of have a problem with that. But
Yeah. Yeah. Me too.
Well, and that's why I'm so excited about that BC32 is, you said you put it on logging roads. We've got ours on, gas well, power lines, corners. You almost get like two cameras for one if you put it on a corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I love about that wide angle is you can put it on the edge of a corner and kind of see both left and right.
Yep.
Yeah, and I know I have pictures of deer flying through the air that would have been in like the final third of the frame that probably with a normal camera, you'd have just had a blank and not known that deer were running through. But, and the cool thing about that picture is no blur.
Yeah.
Deer's flying through the air and it was perfectly all four paws off the ground or hooves off the ground. And yeah, so I like that camera a lot. We sold a ton of them at the shows we did. I mean, we burned through the inventory. I got to get more, but it's just a good camera. And for $120, like I'd love somebody to show me a better camera in that price range. You got the viewer on the inside. You got the year-long battery life, 0.2 second trigger speed. You can view your pictures, easy menu setup. Like there's so much going for that camera at that price. And like I still use the 48s. I like them just because of their clarity and everything. So if you're trying to get cool pictures, like I have a lot of mine set up on just like what's going to be a scenic shot, like a sunset, rocks, just various things. But that camera is a great camera. And then I saw like there's another company coming out with a similar camera, 48 megapixels, and it's like $50 more, uses like some battery you have to recharge. I'm like, and they're so pumped about it. They're super excited for this launch of this camera. And it's like, buddy, we've had that out for 5 years.
Yeah, that's the very first camera we got off of you guys.
Yeah.
Was the BC48, and I'll tell you what, man, like I said, I like that camera a lot.
Yeah, it's an awesome camera.
And that camera has been in the same spot since we got it off of you. It does not leave that area. There's a scrape there that is there all year round. And I mean, I'm still getting buck pictures going to that scrape, hitting it now. And
yeah, I was getting does going to scrapes pretty consistent in February.
And I still got like some of our big bucks still got their headgear and they're still going to that scrape.
That's amazing.
I had a little dink the other day. I seen him on one of the cell cams. He walked past one and then he went down into the bottom past another one. By the time he got to the bottom, he had lost one of his antlers. So I got to go out this weekend and figure out in between where he lost it. Try to retrace his tracks.
Yeah, all my buddies are sending me their shed hunting pictures, and it's like
we haven't even started shed hunting.
I don't have time. Like,
I'd like to go. We like to go out and look for them, but honestly, because we've got so many of the cell cams out there, we know that the ones that we would like to find, they still have them. I don't understand it. Like our bucks still have both sides. They haven't even.
Hey, that's a great sign for next year, though, because like the longer they hold them, the healthier they are. So.
Yep.
Well, that's good because we spend an awful lot of money to feed them and make them healthy.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about this as we've been talking, and one complaint I guess I have is these cameras take too good of pictures. Like when you, so hear me out here, because I actually did this the other day. We use the cell camera and we use the Scout Tech app, which is an awesome app. You share it with your friends. You don't have to text images anymore. I've gotten so used to being able to zoom in when I get that picture on a Scout Tech app, being able to zoom in and clearly see what that animal is. That my buddy showed me a picture the other night off of a different camera, and I went to zoom in and was like, what is this?
Yeah.
Because the quality that your cameras take that image at, you can zoom in and pick out. It doesn't get pixelated.
Yeah. Yeah. So the buck I shot this year, the other one that I went in after looked exactly like him. It was four on one side, had a main beam on the other, but the buck I shot had a drop tine and curved up with a little fork on the end. And the other buck, and they always were together. I mean, through through the, I'd say, third week of November, they were always together. And but sometimes it was hard to tell just looking at the picture on the phone. But like you said, when you zoom in, you could see the difference. Now, say the second week of October, middle of October, their body sizes were completely different. The buck I shot was probably a 5 or 6 year old. He dressed out at 183 pounds, and the other one was just slightly smaller, probably a 4 year old. And but yeah, so we're zooming in looking for like a 1 inch drop tine off it, and most cell cams you're not going to be able to do that. At least
And
not after 10 yards, I should say.
and there's a lot of times I'll get pictures and I'll have to blow the picture up because it's actually picking deer up that are so far away,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
this is in the woods because most of my cameras are in the woods, you know.
yeah, and that's one thing. Like we say, 100 foot range, um, but I use one for security at my house, and I'm constantly getting people walking their dog in the back alley, and that's 52 yards. Um, so we try to give people realistic scenarios, not the best case scenario.
Mm-hmm.
We have some pretty amazing triggers. Caught a trespasser that was walking through a field, and he was 60 yards out, and you could zoom in and you had the profile of his face, and the landowner was able to identify who that person was. You know, now bigger objects, he was out spreading manure one day and it picked up his tractor at a good 150 yards,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and so yeah, the range is amazing. And the difference when you talk about image quality, Matt, the people get caught up in megapixels, and it's not about the megapixel. I can use a 1.8 megapixel image sensor and sell it as a 42 megapixel camera. All it is blowing up the file size. So most cell cams are a 1.8 megapixel camera or a 3. Um, so the image clarity when you zoom in isn't good. So you're going to be required to download that HD photo to try and get a better quality. Ours, you can set it on the lowest setting, and the image clarity is phenomenal. Like, I don't see any reason to download an HD picture unless like you're using it for Facebook or something like me for uploading to our social media pages. Um, so we're using a 14 megapixel image sensor. So the biggest difference is we're now 5 times clearer than some of your top cameras out there. I think somebody may have recently switched to a 5 megapixel, but our image clarity is still 3 times greater than that. So you don't have all these HD downloads and stuff like that. You don't really need it. Um, I can't think of a time with any of our cameras that I've ever gotten a picture and gone, "What is that?" Where before like before I had this company, because we've always focused on image quality. And I realize that's not for everybody, but I've never had a picture where I'm like, what is that? Unless I didn't know. Like maybe the first time I got a Fisher and I'm like, what is that? You know,
Yeah.
more excited to figure out what it was. Um, you know, not because of the image quality, just because it's like I got a long tail weasel one time and had to search for a little while to figure out what it was. But um, yeah, so it's people get caught up in the megapixels because that's what the industry has sold them. You know, the question people need to be asking is what is the native image sensor, you know, or what's the base image? How many megapixels is the base image? Because that's what matters. Now, our BC48 uses a 14 megapixel image sensor as well. The BC32 uses an 8 megapixel image sensor. Um, so, you know, all that stuff matters, like in your image quality. So somebody will go out, buy a 42 megapixel camera because it's a 42 megapixel camera. My images are going to be awesome. And they're using a 1.8 megapixel image sensor. And then they look at it and go, why does this image look like crap? I paid for 42 megapixels. Well, it's because your base image is crap, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So all you're doing is spreading that out. So then when you zoom into the picture, it's a bunch of little blotches, you know? And really, you can go in to like Microsoft Paint and expand your image. And that's all it's doing when it saves the file. It's just blowing the image up. It's not helping the clarity of the image. It's just making it larger.
Yeah, and I hope people understand that. Like you said, the industry is, promoted that more megapixels mean a better image, and that's not always true. I mean, it's just like
Yeah.
with pickups. They boast that this truck will tow 12,000 pounds. What they don't tell you in the small print is it's got to have 82 other different things to get to that 12,000 pounds.
Right. Yep.
But that's
Yeah.
what people focus on.
It's
They focus
tough
on that big
because,
number.
yeah, it's tough because so many companies. I heard a podcast the other day with another camera company, and I was impressed. The guy, like, he seemed a lot like me, like you trying to educate people, you know, and tell them, you know, what what's really going on. And it's the industry's fault, and it's why, like, you know, why so many people are confused because they're just being fed BS and it's all marketing. And yeah, um, this guy was so similar to me. Like I'm listening to him, waiting for like something to disagree with, and I'm like, that guy's a good guy. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like he's calling it how it is. You know, he's not getting caught up in the marketing side of things. He's trying to educate people, and that's what we try to do. But then most people will listen and they're thankful for the knowledge, but then you get those people that are like, yeah, I don't think so. More megapixels is better. And it's like, no, like basically if you like with the BC48, if you set that camera to 14 megapixels, that's probably the best image it's going to take because it's a 14 megapixel sensor. You know, you can blow the picture up if you want to. But you know, when you're opening it up on your phone and it's a 14 megapixel picture, like it's going to look good. It's not going to look much different than the 36 megapixel.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and, we're talking a little bit about all the images and all the cameras here, but we started this a little bit ago on the cell camera.
Mm-hmm.
And the other feature I want to make sure we point out here, because, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, yours is the only one that I know of that works on multiple carriers, which I find is a huge advantage that I don't think enough people realize. You're able to take your camera, the cell camera, works on Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. I can move
Yeah.
that camera to different properties and not have to wonder if it's going to work.
Yeah, exactly. So coming off the outdoor show, I talked to somebody that had bought a cell cam from another company. And I always trying to learn, right? So it's like we can analyze data packages, the big buzzes, the unlimited package, and things like that. And it's like, yeah, but how many pictures is your camera really taking? You know, do you need 20,000 images on one camera? Probably not. Maybe if you're in Maryland and you're hunting over a baited site or something, you might be getting a lot of pictures to where you need that. Um, and I'm kind of going off here, but like we can compare data packages by looking at other people's websites, right? But you have people that offer Verizon and AT&T. So I'm talking to this guy and he's like, "Yeah, I got an AT&T." And T. And one of the guys that helps me asked him, "Well, what happens if you don't get what if you take it to where you want to put it and AT&T is not good?" "Oh, well then I can send a SIM card back and they'll send me a Verizon card." And it's like, as far as I know, we're the only one that pulls from T-Mobile carriers, and I don't think people realize like how much T-Mobile's growing. Like they got a super aggressive CEO right now, um, and like he's making moves in that company. So T-Mobile's becoming more prevalent. So we're the only one that offers T-Mobile to pull from T-Mobile towers. But the biggest thing is that we offer Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile, and it's all in the same SIM card. So you don't have to send um, your card back to get a Verizon card if you chose the AT&T camera. The camera itself, when it boots up, is going to pick the most powerful antenna in your area. So chances are, if you have a signal on your phone, maybe it's fading in and out, chances are you're going to get 2 bars on that camera. You know, it's just a stronger antenna, and you can pretty much put it everywhere. So I was talking to somebody and getting back to the marketing thing. There's a company that sells a very high end camera. And when we built our camera, we built it to beat all their specs. That's what I wanted, was to beat their specs and offer it at a lower price. He's like, "No, my camera can uh, it it doesn't matter where you put it. You'll have a signal anywhere." And I'm like, "Well, I'll never tell anybody that because there's certainly places that don't have any cell coverage." But then when I looked the camera up, this camera has a similar SIM card to us, but they don't offer T-Mobile. So there is one camera out there that does offer Verizon and AT&T, but we have that third thing with T-Mobile, which chances are, like there's an outfitter in Ohio, and that's all he can get is T-Mobile. So he called me not too long ago, and he wants to buy cell cams because that's all he can get. And so yeah, um, love that feature. And on my property, it's 130 acres, and it uses all three carriers. So you always
Yeah,
get the strongest.
we just use, I believe, all mine over the Deer Lease all connect to the AT&T over there.
Yeah,
And I haven't found a spot. Well, I can't say that. There is a spot where I had 1 bar, but
yeah,
it still sent me pictures. It still did what it was
yeah,
supposed to do.
yeah.
And that's all that mattered to me. As long as it works and it gives me my pictures, I'm happy. You know.
Right. Yeah,
And
and Scout Tech has some new features coming out. I'm not allowed to talk about them, but they're working hard to upgrade their app. Um, and there's going to be some interesting data that you can pull from there and things. And hopefully that all launches before the end of deer season. So they've been a great partner for us. So yeah, they're working hard to improve that app. You can actually, if you use OnX, you can show your cameras on OnX. They have a tutorial on their YouTube page on how to do that. But you can basically link your cameras to your OnX app, and they got some other really cool stuff coming.
Huh.
Man, what a teaser. You wait until we're just about done to throw that out there. The Scout Tech's going to be adding some new stuff, and then you can't tell us about it. I can't lie. That's kind of bullshit, Matt.
Yeah, sorry.
And I already love that app, you know.
Yeah, I do too.
That's been, honestly, you know, I mean, we've all used different cameras before, you know, we hooked up with you. And that's the most frustrating part is, you know, if I get a picture, I got to save it to my phone. Then I got to put it in the text message, and I got to send it there, and then you're sending me yours.
Yep.
You know, now it's our biggest issue is if I look at it, because this time of year I'm not checking them as often.
Yeah, me either.
But that's what he texted me the other night. He said, "You see that buck on the picture?" Well, I was able to get in the Scout Tech app, go there. Holy cow, it's still got both sides.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't know if our wives like it too much because all of October and half of November's sent. Do you see that buck on camera?
Yeah.
It's all night. Like, it just turns into deer camp all night.
And it's funny, too, because we got another guy on the deer leash over there with us, Mike. I got him convinced to quit using the cameras that he uses because I added him to our, you know, our share thing. And I'm like, look, dude, look at the pictures compared to what you're using. And he's like, all right, man. He's like, I got to get some of these things. I'm like, yeah. You want to be on this deer leash, you have to have them. So I'm going to kick you off if you don't get some. But what do you say, buddy?
Well, I say that hour went by super quick here.
It always does when we talk to Matt. It's quick.
We got to get some bills paid here, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to let Matt tell everybody where they can find his stuff at?
All right. Facebook's just Bow Creek Outdoors, 3 words. And then Instagram's at Bow Creek Outdoors, 1 word. And I think that's about it. You can find me at Matt Bow Creek. Probably wouldn't follow me. It's a pretty boring page. I don't post much, but if you want to, you can do that. Yeah, and then bowcreekoutdoors.com. Should be getting some new hats soon. We'll throw them up, and then turkey season's right around the corner, so check out our turkey calls. And not sure when you guys are putting this out, but we will be running a sale soon on the BC30 cell cam. You buy BC30 cell cam, you get the solar panel half off. So we'll be running that. I'm not sure when you're putting this out, but maybe I can hold off till you put this out. But probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks, I'd say.
Okay.
Good deal, man. Another podcast we're going to spend money on. So we'll hang out with us here for a couple more minutes, buddy. We got to get some of these bills paid. You got your list, bud?
I'm ready. Creek Archery. Find your passion, then hunt it down. Hey, stop down and see Chris DePerna and the gang down there at Creek Archery for all these great deals on all the new archery products. Stop in and see them. They got some motorcycle, bicycle, electric things coming in there. They got a bunch of tree stands, them saddles. I guess they're not for horses. You hang off the side of a tree with these things. So stop down there, check these guys out down at Creek Archery, and tell them the Keystone Experience sent you.
We got Hillview Motors, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. From new, used, certified, pre-owned. Stop in and see any one of the fantastic sales team. They'll get you into your new vehicle before you know it. Head back to the service center to get it worked on. If it needs oil changes, brakes, anything goes wrong, they'll get it fixed up for you. If you've hit one of these unfortunate critters, stop back to the Collision Center. Certified to work on many makes and models, not just what they sell on the lot. They'll have that vehicle back up, looking brand new, thanks to the Collision Center and the detail shop. Check out all the inventory at hillviewmotors.com, and remember, Hillview has it.
Hey, Duke Traps. From Nest Raiders all the way up to Wolves. Get yourself some of the Duke Traps. The Pro Series, you're looking at the 450, the 550, the 650. Get these things, put them in the ground. Get your kids some of those DP dog proofs to catch some trash pandas, as we like to call them, Rickies. Get the kids started, get them a bag full of marshmallows and turn them loose, and look out, you're going to have a good time out there. Duke Traps, check them out. Tell them the boys from the Keystone Experience sent you.
And we got your buddy,
Deer P. Dave.
with Apparition Sense. What do they say about it?
It is 100% lethal.
And it is something that we truly believe in. Been using it for years, from the Phantom Hunter, the soap, shampoo, laundry, you name it.
Yep.
Then you get to that special time of year, which is any time.
Right now, you should be putting your mock scrapes up. Get your Undertaker and Nightmare out there. And now, to make it a little less messy, he got
The hemp rope.
The hemp rope infused with the Nightmare. So, a lot less messy. You don't have to drip this stuff all over yourself. Take a rake with you, scratch the ground, throw a little dirt in there, tie a rope on, zip tie it onto a limb, get out of there, put a camera on it, and let it do its work.
And you're set to go, and that time of the year comes around. Don't forget about your Deer P, the Inferno, 100% estrus, certified hot.
Certified hot.
And it will get the job done for you. Check out the whole lineup at apparitionsense.com. We have Chico Outdoors. Chico Outdoors is a nonprofit organization promoting outdoor recreational activities to kids and veterans. It's in honor of Andrew Chico Christ, who was an avid outdoorsman and loved encouraging others, especially the younger generation, to get involved in the great outdoors. It has grown into an organization that hosts the annual Outdoor Expo in April of each year, but one that promotes outdoorsmanship year-round. They put back into the community. It's a nonprofit, just a fantastic group of people. Make sure you're following everything they do on their Facebook page. Check it out, and don't miss next year's Outdoor Expo, Chico Outdoors.
Hey, if you guys haven't listened or watched the episodes that we have with Matt, or our little TV promos that we have out there with the cameras, these things are awesome. I mean, now that we got the solar panels with these cell cameras, it's like just set them and forget them, you know? I mean, I keep saying I got to go move one off the power line we had set up for turkey season, but I'm getting all kinds of pictures of mums bringing the little fawns through there, so I don't know if I'm going to change it or not right now. You know, it's kind of cool to see them little critters, but the BC30 is the cell. It works on all three platforms.
Sir. Yep, all three providers, Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile, all on one SIM card, so you can pretty much put that camera wherever you want and get a signal out of it.
And then on our Food Plus, we're running BC32s, which is the wide angle. And I'm telling you what, the distance that these cameras take pictures at is freaking unbelievable. Like, I gotta look at pictures 2 or 3 times.
Yep, and they're clear. The image is clear.
They are clear. In the woods, these things are picking up deer at, 45, 50 yards?
Yep.
And when there's no leaves on the tree,
even farther.
Yeah. So, check them out. Bow Creek Outdoors. This is Bow Creek. Use our promotional code to get yourself, I believe it's 20% off.
I believe that's right.
TKE20.
Yes, sir.
So, that'll get you 20% off. And anytime you use a camera and you put some photos up there, just put the hashtag out Bow Creek Trail Cameras or hashtag This is Bow Creek.
Well, buddy, deer season's coming, which means riding season slows down. Doesn't end, but it slows down. So you got to go up and check out all the inventory and the new stuff that Z&M Harley-Davidson has. New bikes, used bikes, parts, clothes.
They are running some awesome deals right now on used bikes. Like, they're giving you an extra year warranty, I believe it was, I seen. They're giving you some crazy crap. Go on to Z&M's website, their new website, and check it out. I mean, they're giving you some crazy incentives to buy used bikes. So
you can do that at znmharleydavidson.com.
Yeah, go up there and see Ryan and them guys and just tell them the Keystone Experience sent you. Who else we got here, buddy? Back 40, old Roy and Bill. I was on the phone with old Roy the other day. I was talking to him about some fall planting that we're going to be doing here pretty soon, because we're going to plant a little bit here in the summer, but we're going to do a late season. Get yourself some of that Uncle Al's blend or some buck fuel. Get that planted, and we're going to have a good time this year over top of these food plots.
Yes, sir.
I mean, they're hammering them right now.
I know.
We got pictures on them, and the fawns are in there just chewing away on that good sweet clover. So check them out. Back 40 Seed Company, and use Keystone 10 to check out. Or give me a holler. I got a couple bottles of stuff left here, so give me a call.
You know what we're going to use once we're done harvesting one of those critters out of them food plots?
What's that, buddy?
A Weeby knife.
A Weeby knife.
You know what they say about them, right?
What they said?
They're wicked sharp.
They are not from Boston.
No matter how you say it, at the end of the day, that is still a ridiculously sharp blade that if you happen to break or somehow dull, which let me tell you, it is really hard to dull those. We tried all season. We used pretty much all the knives they have. They work great. They're replaceable blades if you need to get a new one. Good grips. Just a fantastic product.
They're awesome. And they got more than just knives too. You know, they got the multi-tool. The aprons are a blessing when you're in the fur shed. They got a fur scraper. They got a beaver tail knife. So get over there, check out Weeby Knives, and check out Weeby Trapline Adventures. You'll get to see Bob the dog and Mr. Mark out there trapping the world, man. They're all over the place. In fact, we'll get to hang out with them at the PTA.
Yes, sir.
So, Weeby Knives. Check them out. And our good buddy, Brian, he has answered everybody's, what do I want to say?
Request?
Yeah. For 1 ounce sample bottles.
Of Trapline beard oil?
Trapline beard oil.
Oh, man, I'm going to have to go put an order in right now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, you can get yourself, I believe,
a 3-pack?
Every scent that he has in the 1 ounce bottle, and I believe it's a 3-pack for, I don't know. I don't want to say because I'm probably wrong. But give Brian a holler, and I'm telling you, some of the stuff that this man's coming up with is freaking unbelievable. Smells good. You know, I'm still I'm still using the Acorn stuff from the fall. I use it out just about every day because I love the smell of it. The rustic wood. Just get on there, look it up, order it. Let Brian know that you heard it on here. And stay bearded.
You know, buddy, sometimes things happen in life that we can't control. But that's what we have insurance for. Reach out to Kelton Black Agency today, Facebook, or give them a call for your commercial, auto, homeowners, farm, and life insurance needs. We've worked with Kelton before, and he'll work hard to make sure you have the best coverage possible. Give him a call for a quote or head over and see him in his new office and do business with someone who cares.
Right here in Greensburg, Mr. Kelton Black.
Representing American National.
Hey, you know what I like putting out for the deer?
What's that?
Forget genetics.
That's one of the best minerals we've ever used.
Dude, we will no longer put any minerals out on our property unless they are Forget Genetics. And the persimmon pops and the apple jacks, just to get the animals. I to be honest with you, I don't think we got to even put that out. We just got to put the minerals out.
And you know the best thing about the minerals is if you do the You Try 5, you can find out what your animal actually likes.
Yeah, we did it at our place, and it seems like our deer love the persimmons, the sweet corn, and the acorn. They don't like the apples.
They don't, and it would have been a real shame if we'd have spent hundreds of dollars on a mineral that had apple in it for them not to eat it.
To give Barry, because they are veteran-owned, family-run. They do everything there, from the mixing straight into the bag to the delivering. Barry and his family will take care of you, and we support all veteran-owned companies. So from crawl to wall, we got your 6 for Get Genetics.
And we've got Gearhead Archery, rethinking tradition.
Yes, sir.
It is going to be a phenomenal bow season. We are extremely pumped to have Gearhead on and join the team here at the Keystone Experience. We're both going to be shooting the Pivot 30 this year.
Yep.
And that was a hard choice to make.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. He got so many good bows, and, from the T18 all the way up. Everybody sees a Gearhead bow, and they go, "Oh, them just the little bows." No, he makes a full-size bow, and they all shoot unbelievable. So get a chance, check them out, look them up. They will be down at Kirk Archery, just one to try, but me and Matt will have our bows, so if we're around, you're more than welcome to shoot them and get yourself a Gearhead.
It's going to be a great season.
Dude, I can't wait to sling an arrow through something's chest with it.
Yep. So head over to gearheadarchery.com. Look at everything he's got. If you have any questions, reach out to us or reach out to Gearhead themselves. Skip will answer any question that you have. Follow along with us as we take this ride now.
And just tell Skip that you heard about it here on the Keystone Experience. We got our good buddy, old Outdoor Dan. He shoots a Gearhead too.
He does.
He shoots a little one.
He does. He shoots, I think, 24?
24 or 28. One of them two.
We should really start calling him Indoors Dan. I've seen him unfortunately hurt himself.
Yeah. Got that big boot on his foot. But hey, he was out changing cards and stuff the other day, so he can't really be hurting that bad.
Well, he's been working hard anyways, getting new stuff ready for the Outdoor Call Radio app.
Yes, sir.
Download it today, Android and iOS, 24/7, 365 days a year, outdoor-related content.
Outdoor-related content, some of the best giveaways you're going to find in the industry. There is, I believe, right now, there's a couple fishing trips going on. There's going to be an ice fishing trip coming up. I believe a couple whitetail hunts. So get on there, download it. Wednesdays, we're on a loop with Mr. George Lynch and Warden Watch. 24 hours. It's all three of us. Check them out. There's other great shows on there. Dan on Wednesday does the live talking about Bigfoot and Ghost, and so get on there, check it out, answer the call.
And while you've got that phone in your hand, follow along with us on Facebook, Instagram. Rob hasn't had us kicked off of TikTok yet, so you can watch over there, and head over to the YouTube channel. Check out all the videos we've got going on there. Hit the bell icon, like it, subscribe. And where else can they find us, buddy?
You can get the full experience on Carbon TV.
Check us out there. We appreciate everybody following along with us. Rob, take us out of here, buddy.
Hey, shoot straight and keep the dirty side down.